As the NBA continues to evolve and embrace new styles of play, one name has emerged as a potential game changer: Luka Doncic. The young Slovenian phenomenon has taken the league by storm since his arrival in 2018, displaying a skill set and basketball IQ far beyond his years. But now, as Doncic enters his fourth season in the league, the question on everyone's mind is not just how good he can be, but how much can he change the game itself. In this video, we'll explore why Luka is poised to permanently transform the NBA and how his unique style of play and fearless approach to the game could revolutionize basketball. Do you recall Dallas's appearance in the Western Conference in 2022? They had a fantastic playoff run. Phoenix lost to them. They seem to be a guard-capable up-and-coming squad. Naturally, they had Luka, and right now Dallas is experiencing a pretty bad scenario. There is a lot to discuss here, but I think there is a little bit of misinformation on what Dallas Mavericks are truly going through. A few factors which we'll discuss later truly need to be understood in this situation, not the least of which is something that strongly dispels the notion that Luka Doncic would be looking to leave or move soon. Nonetheless, I believe that the way this front office has surrounded Luka with quality should be where we begin, as the organisation has consistently failed to surround its superstars with competitive champion level squads. If a superstar does decide to leave, it's not always because of this. There are further factors. Some men just like to reside in certain places. Some males only want to play with certain individuals. The majority of the time, however, if you can surround a superstar with a championship caliber team, they'll want to remain no matter where you are. You shouldn't be concerned about them asking for a trade, since they will want to stay. Dallas, meanwhile, hasn't done a very good job. You can make the case that hiring Luka was the finest and only truly excellent thing they've done in the previous 89 years. A remarkable double draft night transaction took place. He drops to 3, they raise to 3, and they finally succeed in capturing him. Several homegrown talents like Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, and Porzingis have been unable to join Dallas's roster. As a result, Dallas is in a scenario without Luka they don't have much of a future, and without Luka they would be among the poorest teams in the league. The Kyrie Irving deal was the most recent front office blunder, which has resulted in them missing a few key opportunities and leaving them without the draft selections to show for it. Dallas now only has Luka to look forward to, and without him, they would be among the league's weakest teams. This has left Dallas with little hope for the future. The author was not a fan of Kyrie's move since it may put Luka under strain because of his lack of size and defense. Even though Kyrie has been okay off the court, when both of those players are on the court, they are one of the worst teams in the league because they can't defend, can't rebound, are too tiny, and even with all their offensive firepower, are one of the worst teams in the league. All of this is leading to the question of whether Luka will find a way out, which many people will keep bringing up. I feel that everyone is ignoring something that has to be understood. In this situation, nothing like this has ever occurred, and I'm not talking about asking for a swap. That occurs often. By and large, foreign players are dominating the highest level of the sport. Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, and of course Luka, who has been the MVP favourite for the last 2 seasons, come to mind while discussing this year's MVP competition. No foreign player so far has asked for a trade. Now, it may just be a coincidence. There may not be as much precedence there for this reason. That could be the case, as a few of the league's top players until recently went from outside. Despite never having reached the championship game previous to the deal, Giannis re-signed with the Milwaukee Bucks. He now seems to be quite content with Milwaukee. I'll be monitoring his performance in the next postseason, however. Other than that, nobody has ever asked for a trade for an international player before, not even those men. Nevertheless, I were a Mavs supporter, I wouldn't necessarily feel at ease about the circumstances, because at some point Luka isn't accustomed to losing when he's someone who has had so much success in basketball throughout his career at such a young age. He has achieved success wherever he's played, and as an individual, he's among the league's finest players. The most crucial information in this text is that despite reaching the conference finals last year and being reasonably competent during his first 4 seasons, Luka will begin to have second thoughts if Kyrie starts to spiral downward because he's never lost at this level in a professional setting. The chance exists that Kyrie might have even more time to ruin a franchise if Dallas loses him for nothing. He signs a new deal somewhere, or no other team in the league wants to give him a 4-year deal. This may open door number 1 or door number 3. Kyrie leaves and may wreck a team once again, which may prompt Luka to make a date request. The most crucial information in this book is that Dallas must successfully secure the draft section for this year, maximise Kyrie's worth, and hold out hope that Luka would continue to be patient if they decide to re-sign him. There is no assurance that Luka will exercise patience in the future, and this is the first occasion in Luka's career that the odds of a bad consequence outweigh a good one. The last issue is, what potential does the Mavs roster have going forward if Luka stays? Even if Luka decides to remain, not many clubs will be willing to give him this big multi-year deal. You must get there something of worth from him, whether it's a signing, trade, or whatever else. And apart from Luka, this is essentially the weakest roster in the league. If it doesn't happen, you may convince yourself into becoming a squad with 48 wins, for example, but there is little chance of winning a championship. And historically, superstars like James, who have established the precedent of paying attention to where your team is headed, are the first players to understand that there's no championship potential. Not only turning up to work and playing basketball every day, but also taking a look at the roster as a whole and assessing its direction. If we don't already have a championship caliber squad, how do we get there? Is there a clear way? Were there any assists? Do you have any young men? Do we have a chance for some of these men to advance and develop further? That takes me to my next point, which is that I firmly believe Luka will break the tradition of foreign players not asking out or demanding a move. To be entirely honest, if that occurs this season, I wouldn't be stunned. There truly isn't a future for this team if Kyrie decides to go, and he looks at the rest of the roster and thinks, no, Brunson, KP's gone, we didn't get any value out of either of those players. Traded away our best wing defender in Finney-Smith, along with another first-round selection, perhaps most likely the next off-season, or even later on if Kyrie decides to re-sign. Yet if you're in Dallas, this is an extremely horrible position. When you have a young superstar level talent, it's the worst situation you can be in. And to make matters worse, I'm not even sure how they plan to address the problem. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on Luka Doncic and his future in the NBA? Do you think he has potential to be one of the greatest players of all time? How do you see him changing the game? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell to be notified when we release new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.